And then you got the Lane Kiffin situation where Lane is getting paid. If Ole Miss continues to win, Lane wins. Jimbo Fisher had some strong words to say about Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss when they were in the playoffs and now at LSU.
It's selfish. That's what it is. It's stupid. And because here's why I say that. He wanted to coach and thought he didn't get his way. So everybody get on the plane with me, you don't have a job. All right? And he makes them all go. Then he gets down there and takes a PR hit because it looks bad that you really don't care about the kids. Then he says, okay, you can go back. But here's where he screwed up.
He thought they were going to lose.
He thought they were going to lose to Georgia, exactly. And the portal thing was all over with, and it was going to be all over with. And he said, okay, I'll look like a hero. Yeah. Now he's got egg on his face because the real Lane came back out. You know what I'm saying? And if those guys were allowed to coach the first game, they should be allowed to coach the fourth. Because those kids are doing something that you get one time in your life to ever do.
Okay, but college football has created this situation. Why can't we get to a point where the end of the college football season, if we make it earlier, and then Lane Kiffin goes to LSU? He wasn't going to pass up LSU. Great opportunity. I get it. But I wouldn't have let him coach Ole Miss. And now I think because he took an incredible PR hit, that's when Lane goes, well, I'll loan you, the coaches back. Now, keep in mind, reportedly, when he was going to LSU, said to his coaches, you're either on the plane or you're not. So they made a fast getaway, and then all of a sudden, I think Lane thought that Ole Miss wasn't going to go this far, that they would lose to Georgia. And then, hey, you know what, man, we had a really good year, and I wish them well, and, go Tigers. But you have this game coming up tonight, and if you're Lane Kiffin, I know if you win, if Ole Miss wins, you win with money. But you don't win, I don't think, with public perception of this. Because then it's going to be, well, they're winning without Lane Kiffin. Now, he helped build this team. And I'm wondering how we're going to look at, what if Ole Miss wins the national title? And they can, they're in the Final Four. How are we going to view Lane Kiffin when it's all said and done? Is it going to be Lane Kiffin, one national championship on his resume? Does he get a national championship asterisk? Does he get part of a national championship? Does he get a ring? Is he part of the ceremony? But Lane miscalculated. Yes, he was going to take the job. I think he thought Ole Miss was going to lose earlier. Therefore, this doesn't hang. And it's there. And then when I saw that Lane was maybe going to join the broadcast or be part of the pregame, I go, no. Let these kids have their moment. You could have had it. You chose to take the money and run, and then you decide to loan out your assistant coaches, which that's very generous. That's nice. I'm glad that those assistant coaches are able to help. And I can't help but root for Ole Miss just because of the story. It's wild. But I hope Lane knows, stay in your lane. See what I did with that, Todd?
Very clever.
Thank you. Stay in your lane. Root from afar. Hopefully you're rooting for Ole Miss to win, and you also get $1 million. Yeah, Paul.
And this story could be in play for years. If Ole Miss happens to win the national title, I think publicly Lane Kiffin's going to get very little credit, even though he built this program up. But if he does not win a title at LSU and Ole Miss happens to win one, it'll be on his resume forever.
Well, okay. If Ole Miss wins, well, even Ole Miss where they are now, LSU's got to match this next year. Like, it feels like the pressure. And Lane knows that. Lane will recruit. Lane is a really good coach. But he hasn't won anything when you think about it. The Raiders was a mess. USC was a mess. Tennessee was a mess. Ole Miss, I thought was, man, stay there. And I get it. It's easy for me to, say something or play with other people's money. I go back to that documentary that the mothership did. And if you would have bet, I would say, man, that guy is as happy as he's ever been. But it's rare when you find the coach who doesn't. And I liken it to, if you've ever lived in New York City, you get an apartment and you immediately start looking for your next apartment because there's always going to be a better apartment. And that's what coaches do. Hey, this is good. Wait, what's he getting? Wait, is that going to be open? And that's what Lane does. LSU's not going to be his final stop. But that's just who he is. He's always going to be on the move. But I'd love to have a camera on Lane Kiffin tonight as he watches this game. Yes, Todd.
So in a purely honest moment, I know there's a little extra money attached to it, but with the kind of millions he's making, it's not going to change his lifestyle much if they win in another game or two. Does Lane Kiffin want Ole Miss to win tonight and win the national title without him?
No, we can talk about that. But that game coming up tonight, it's Ole Miss and Miami.